Welcome back, everyone. Today I've got something, unfortunately I had to take it out of the shipping container because that had my address all over it, but this came in direct from China. This is from Higole, which, if you don't know who Higole is, they are a PC manufacturer that's actually got quite a few interesting form factor systems. They've got some mini PCs, some all-in-ones, and then they've got this weird thing, and this is the F9B 512. There are two versions. Unfortunately, there's not a whole lot on the package other than F9B. It also came with this little adapter, which I assume, since it should be available on Amazon and Newegg soon, just like their existing systems would, or are. There's a Goal 1 and a Goal 2 Pro that are similar to this, that this will be in the box when it finally is sitting in U.S. warehouses, but this one was shipped direct. I ordered it on their website, and the only other thing on the box is a sticker with what I assume is the serial number. So let's switch to that camera and see if I can get the glare up there. And okay, so we've got a box that says Higole PC, and inside here we've got our power brick, and we've seen plenty of ones like this before. Warning, please do not power any other devices with it. Well, that's nice of you guys, but this is just a 12 volt 3 amp adapter. Nothing particularly exciting. I've seen plenty like this, and it just snaps together like that. Comes with a China power plug that we're not going to use, and other than that, nothing remarkable there. There's a sheet. F9B Pro screen, 7-inch mini PC, and yeah, we'll get to all that in a second, because what we want is to see what that little booklet just gave away: our PC with a screen. Please peel off this mask after application completed. And there is the world's chunkiest tablet. And yeah. So this is the F9B Pro. And we have a 7-inch mini PC plus tablet. This is a 1280 by 800 IPS 300 nit screen. We've got an array of ports here that, according to this, includes a pair of RTL 8125 BG-GC 2.5 gig Ethernet ports, a pair of USB 3 interfaces, one Type-C with full functionality. I want to try charging it and running it with the Type-C. I don't even want to use this adapter. We've got our 12 volt in, an HDMI 2.0 port, and this has got a 12th gen Adler Lake N100 with 16 gigs of DDR4, and it says 256 gigs of eMMC, which this is the 512 version. How hard are you to open up? Oh, that's a bummer. So it's not hard to open up, but you ruin the little feet when you do it. We're going to open it before we do anything, and I guess I'll buy a new set of feet or get some double-sided tape to reapply these. Really quick, are there any other ports there? Oh, a couple of 2.0 ports, a micro SD card reader, headphone combo jack, and a little tray here, I think. Let's grab a screwdriver. And while we're doing this, Wake on LAN is supported. It says Windows 11 Pro or above, which is weird. Probably hedging their bets that Windows 12 might become a thing. So we've just got 4 screws. I really wish they had moved the rubber feet in to just there. And then I would have had access to those without doing anything. Come on. I don't want to pry. Alright, there's no screws under those stickers, so it should be as simple as getting something in one of these seams and then popping the bottom off, because I should, oh, there we go. Okay, wow. So there's our battery. The memory is modular. What type is this? That is a 16 gig DDR4 module, which means I might be able to upgrade this to 32. What else is going on in here? This is a 256 gig. That says MSATA. Why would they do that? So is there eMMC and an MSATA? I was really hoping that that was M.2 SATA and I'd be able to upgrade it, or that there'd be an M.2 slot somewhere. Yeah, so that's MSATA, which is a weird choice. Just, I don't know why anyone would use MSATA in 2024 on a new system. It looks like, if I very carefully, so that's the display connector. And I only see 2 screws holding the motherboard itself into place. There's one here. And one here. With those out. Should be okay. There's one hidden between the USB 3 ports. And let's get that one out. That's neat. Come on. Oh, and there's one here between the USB 2 ports. One, and no, the other's still there. There's that one. So with that, oh, and there's one between the Ethernet. Okay, so there's more of those than I thought there were, but they're not in the places I expected them to be. Come on. Should be able to. Take this out. Come on. that's a speaker. Unplug that speaker. Looks like the Wi-Fi is provided by someone called FN Link. And we got a pair of Wi-Fi antennas that are going to be a pain in the ass to plug back in. Good. Hey, that's neat. The battery apparently is charged because it tried to power on. And there's the back side, which is a bummer. I was hoping to see an M.2 slot for more storage. So this has expandable storage, which is one of the things I wanted, but it doesn't have it in the form factor that would have made my life easy. It's M SATA instead of M.2 SATA or NVMe, which means that there's a very limited availability of drives for it. That said, still pretty exciting. This is going to be the world's worst and best tablet all at once. So I'm guessing that since that's 256 and this is the 512 model, that this chip here is going to be for the other 256 gigs of storage, because it's got 256 gigs of eMMC, but we only got a 256 gig mSATA. I don't know what a 1 terabyte mSATA costs off the top of my head. Let's check. I mean, 50, 60 bucks, so I can still get what I want. It's just not going to be as fast as I want it. And 11 sells a JMS 600 2 terabyte for $130. Dogfish sells one for $180. So 2 terabyte mSATAs exist. Let's switch to this while I put it back together, because no one needs to see the sins of this popping back in place. In fact, let's just cut for a minute. Before I do close this up, I do want to highlight a few things that I found in here that were interesting. I do like how much functionality is still exposed, and I think that's because they use this same board they have like an all-in-one desktop that actually looks like there's just one of these boxes bolted to the back of it. And I think that's entirely possible, because this connector could go to a full-size monitor, no problem. And we've got speaker channel 1, speaker channel 2, mic channel 1, mic channel 2, all exposed right there if you wanted to add an additional speaker. You could probably buy that speaker module or one similar to it, and I don't know, put it somewhere over here where the Kensington is, or well, yeah, that's actually the only good place for it. Or maybe just cut a little slit in the case there like they did here, and add a second speaker so it has stereo sound out of the gate, no problem. This is marked USB CH1, or USB 2 CH1, so there's a jack here for an additional USB port. We got a module for a real-time clock, another DC in jack on the board, something that just says BTN CN1. I assume that's for some sort of buttons. What they do, don't know. And the 256 gig eMMC, which, although not necessarily the world's fastest or greatest storage, is a good thing. Because I 100% plan to throw a 1 or 2 terabyte chip when I decide to waste the money on it in this, and that will expand what it works for me as, because one of the things that I bought this to do is to live in my network bag and be something that I can use to take drive images while my main laptop is busy. And with that ability, I mean, yeah, if I'm driving it off the USB-C, I'd only have the one port available to me. If I drive it off the DC-12, which isn't that, almost sealed it without RAM, which isn't that big of an issue, I'd have that available to me for 10 gig with a new Icy Dock module that I just got. In fact, that video will probably go up before this one, so you'd see exactly what this will be living most of its life connected to. The other things that I bought this for is this is going to run things like iPerf for me or other network utilities, and be on the network when I am troubleshooting. I can hook it up somewhere on a switch in a stack. I can run iPerf. I can run what's the word I want to use here? I can run a DNS server on it. I can run DHCP on it. Why are we not quite settling right? I guess it's just tight. Okay. So I can run, DHCP, DNS, a full stack on it. It's got 2.5 gig ports, which means that I should be able to do performance tests at multi-gig speed, which is something I've never been able to do. Most of the devices that have lived in my network bag have either had no wired networking, and I've had to use USB dongles, which incur overhead, or I did have one laptop in there for a while that was gigabit. And I was to say, I just lost a screw. There's my screw. Other than the fact that I had to peel the rubber feet off, and that I wish that was an M.2 slot instead of an M-SATA, that's great. And let's see. All right, so we power on. And unless I screwed something up, I should see something on this screen in a second. And if I don't see anything in a second, I'm guessing that I fucked up the screen connector. No, there we go. Look at that. Intel inside. We're going to switch back to this so that we can watch it boot up. There we go. And that is a Windows 11 loading animation. So this has, according to it, a 5,000 milliamp hour battery. Oh, and it just switched rotation. Just a moment. That is, I wonder what piece of tape I forgot. I'll open it up, put that back in later. I'll rewatch the video, and I'm going to read the spec on the battery, but that honestly doesn't mean anything. You can print anything on it and it'll work. I wish I had less glare. This is high gloss, and I guess if I move it to there and bring this down, oh, that's worse. I just made that worse. Well, okay, English. Yes, US, yes. Oh, I'm gonna have to hook a keyboard up to this so that I can skip hooking it up to a network. One moment, please. All right, now that I've looked up the magic words to tell Microsoft to go screw off, it's going to reboot again. Also, don't buy an AST keyboard. I don't know where I found this thing, but it is This keyboard is the most e-waste keyboard I have ever worked with. It's inconsistent, it's garbage. I'm pretty sure we paid less than $5 for it. I don't even know why it was in my office right now, but at least it was a nearby USB board. The LEDs aren't even molded to the top of the case. This is just such garbage. Anyway. Man. They got everything so close, but it's not NVMe, and this high gloss screen was a mistake. I mean, it makes it look good, but I really wish I could get the flicker out. Whatever. I apologize for the flicker. Okay. I'm going to set a password right now. Turn off all of our stuff. I want to see what junkware and spyware is on the system. Hopefully none. I'm going to do a second video with this once it's all set up and do some performance testing. This is actually my first Adler Lake N100 device, which should be able to keep up with, I've got some like 8th gen laptops that have got like the 8650U, 8650U and 8550U, which are quad-core hyper-threaded i7s, but they're like 25-watt chips with similar performance to this thing theoretically, although that eMMC is kind of slower than I was hoping based on how long this process is taking. I want to see what device the Wi-Fi chip claims to be, because while I was looking inside the device, it didn't look like it was an Intel Wi-Fi chip per the markings, but that doesn't mean that it's not. Intel sells their Wi-Fi chipsets to plenty of vendors. It may also be some Asian third party I'm not familiar with. Okay, so we... we'll go to Device Manager. So we defaulted to a portrait orientation, and I want to see what network adapters I have. Realtek AC Wi-Fi, that's a miss. I was hoping for AX Wi-Fi and something N100 based. Disk drives, generic SCA 256, that's lovely. But I don't see anything on the desktop. Well, that's neat. We'll go open drive C. Yeah, I've got two 256 gig volumes. Had I known it was just going to be recycler, that's an empty folder. CMAK often. So there is some stuff left over from their install and activation of Windows. And I'm not going to say that that's anything potentially a problem. I mean, I don't see anything in here that screams, hey, we modified anything, and I don't see anything under the all apps other than Microsoft Office is pre-installed on here. Although, let me open up, we'll just open up Word. It might ask me to activate it. It's not uncommon, especially for smaller PC vendors, to have leftovers in their... Let's try that again. Please connect to the internet. Okay, so it wants to activate Office, so it's just preloaded, but it's not activated, it's not cracked. Good. Realistically, not seeing anything super weird other than it looks like they were just a little sloppy about their activation utility when they flashed the drive. Not uncommon. I've even seen that from larger vendors occasionally. You see it a fair amount when you buy refurbished systems. The recyclers will they'll wipe something and flash it, but they'll forget to remove their tools, or they'll have made an image with their tools still on it. That said, I'm probably going to do a clean install just because. Yeah, just because. I'm going to do an upgrade on this. I do want to try putting 32 gigs of RAM in it, and I am going to run it through Benchmark Suite when I do that, because I'll want some before and afters just to see how it behaves with the extra memory. I do wonder. All right. So let's. It has a gyro in it. So when I do that, this is officially the world's most amazing Windows tablet. I think the only thing I could have asked for is more of the internals. It's going to do everything I want. It's a tablet with Ethernet ports. Anyway, who is this for? Obviously, this is for me because I wanted a little computer with a screen on it to take around with me to have my laptop do other stuff when I need to, so that I can leave this pulling a disk image off something while I'm working on something else. So that I can shove this in a switch room, leave it there, probably plugged in, and then, run around the building with stuff. There's a couple of things on it that make me I'm not going to say hesitant, but not excited to suggest it for general purpose users. It's kind of noisy. I don't know if you can hear it, but that fan has gone non-stop since it powered on. Not a big issue for how I'm going to use it, but potentially an issue for people who value quiet. And that might be, it made, fire up the task manager, that may just be Windows 11 doing its stuff, indexing the drive, and it'll settle down eventually, although it's only at like 4% CPU load. I might be able to fix it with SpeedFan, or the BIOS. I haven't gone into the BIOS yet, and the fan may just be set to max performance, and I just need to turn it to something else. I didn't even notice the reset pin above the USB 3 port. I wonder if that lets me get into the BIOS. Anyway, 2.5 gig ports are neat. If you wanted something to run on your network and have an interactive display, certainly a useful feature. I could 100% see some little firewalls built that have a little screen and run network statistics on them the whole time. That's convenient. Beyond that, it's just a little N100 box. There are plenty of things I've suggested mini PCs for. I think digital signage, unless I can get the fan quieted down, is probably not one of the ones this is going to be better at. Same thing goes for home theater applications. The performance might be there, and I may find that N100 itself does fantastic for that. It's making a whole lot of noise, and I'm used to machines in its performance class being silent. With all that said, if there are tests you want me to run on this, let me know. Flip it up. on screen as I do my outro. As I was saying, if there's tests you want me to do on this specifically, let me know. I'm more than happy to run them. I'm happy enough with it. This retails for right about $300. I bought it direct from Higole using PayPal, so no issues there. It will be available on Amazon and Newegg in the near future, and I will have links to those once they become available. Hopefully they're available by the time this is airing. They said, I think, mid-June, and that's just about a week away at this point. Yeah, that's it. This is the world's chunkiest tablet, about 1.5 inches thick. With all that said, as always, I'd like to thank Electrix for providing our opening and closing themes. I'd like to thank anyone who helps support Pocketables either on Patreon or by subscribing. It's support like that helps make videos like this possible. I would like to invite anyone who has any questions about this or has any input to either put it in the comments below or join us on Discord. I will have it in and around and played with, live there to a degree. And finally, thank you for watching.